They came for pepper and silk. They stayed because the greatest empire in the world had just begun to crack. In the last episode, the East India Company lost the spice trade to the Dutch. Expelled from the islands it had fought for, it turned toward India not out of ambition but out of necessity. What it found there would change the world. This is how a trading company gets its foot in the door of a civilization and never takes it out. The year is 1608. A company ship drops anchor off the coast of Surat, the busiest port in the Mughal Empire. The captain's name is William Hawkins. His mission is straightforward: meet the Mughal emperor, secure a trading agreement, establish a factory. A factory, in the language of this era, is not a manufacturing plant. It is a warehouse, a depot, a place where a company factor, an agent, can store goods, conduct business, and represent the company's interests on foreign soil. Hawkins secures a meeting with Emperor Jahangir. It goes surprisingly well at first. Jahangir is curious, cosmopolitan, fond of European novelties. He takes a liking to Hawkins. He even offers him a wife. Then the Portuguese object. Portugal has been trading with the Mughals for a century. They have priests at court, influence with the emperor's advisors, and no desire to share access with English upstarts. They lobby hard. The trading agreement collapses. Hawkins leaves empty-handed, but the company does not leave. It sends another mission, then another. Each time, it learns more about court politics, about what the Mughal emperor actually wants, about which governors can be bribed and which cannot. And slowly, through persistence and adaptability, it finds its opening. In 1613, the emperor grants the company the right to establish a factory at Surat. It is a small concession, a warehouse permit, barely worth noting in the vast machinery of the Mughal state. It is also the most consequential foothold in the history of trade. From Surat, the company watches, trades, and waits. It handles disputes with care. It pays its dues to local officials. It keeps its head down. The Mughal Empire is a sovereign power of staggering scale, 300 million people, revenues that dwarf every European state combined, an army that can field hundreds of thousands of soldiers at need. The company is a guest. It knows this. It behaves accordingly. For now, the next opening comes not from diplomacy but from a royal wedding. In 1661, the Portuguese Princess Catherine of Braganza marries the English King Charles II. The Portuguese need English military support. The English need cash and trade access. The dowry is extraordinary. Among other assets, Portugal hands over the island of Bombay. Charles has no idea what to do with it. He leases it to the East India Company for £10 a year. The company knows exactly what to do with it. Within a generation, Bombay transforms from a collection of fishing villages into a fortified port city. The company builds warehouses, docks, a hospital, and a fort. It offers tax incentives to attract merchants from across India and beyond. Gujarati traders come. Parsi merchants come. The city grows with a speed that surprises everyone, including the company itself. Bombay is not just a trading post. It is a statement. A city built by a corporation, governed by a corporation, defended by a corporation. The idea that a private company can own and run a city, can have its own laws, its own courts, its own soldiers, is taking shape here on this island off the western coast of India. Meanwhile, on the other coast, another settlement is taking root. Madras, Fort St. George, is established on the Coromandel coast in 1640. The company leases a strip of beach from a local Nayak chief and builds a fortified warehouse. Over decades, it grows into a town, then a city, then the administrative capital of the company's southern operations. And then there is Calcutta. In 1690, a company official named Job Charnock establishes a trading post on the banks of the Hooghly River in Bengal. The location is strategic. Bengal is the richest province in the Mughal Empire, producing the finest cotton textiles in the world. Cloth so fine it is described in Persian as woven air. 3 villages on a riverbank become Fort William. Fort William becomes Calcutta. Calcutta becomes the beating commercial heart of everything the company will eventually become. 3 cities, 3 footholds, each beginning as a warehouse, each becoming something the Mughal Empire never quite registers as a threat until it is too late. Because the Mughal Empire, in the second half of the 17th century, has problems of its own. Aurangzeb, the emperor who reversed Akbar's tolerance, reimposed the tax on non-Muslims, and spent 4 to 9 years at war, dies in 1707. He is 88 years old. He dies in a military camp in the Deccan, still fighting a war he cannot win. His death does not just end a reign, it detonates a succession crisis. Aurangzeb has spent decades eliminating potential rivals within his own family. He has executed one brother, imprisoned another, and driven his sons into resentment and conspiracy. When he dies, there is no clear successor, no stable transition, no established mechanism for passing power. What follows is chaos. In the space of 12 years, the Mughal throne passes through 6 emperors. Generals fight generals. Governors declare independence. The treasury, already drained by 4 to 9 years of Deccan warfare, hemorrhages further with every civil conflict. The empire does not collapse overnight. The Mughal name still commands respect. Local governors still nominally bow to Delhi, but the substance of central power, the ability to collect taxes across the subcontinent, to deploy armies, to enforce the emperor's will, is dissolving. Regional powers sense the vacuum and begin to fill it. The Marathas expand from the western Deccan. The Nawabs of Bengal, Hyderabad, and Awadh operate as independent rulers in all but name. The Sikh Confederacy consolidates in the Punjab. The company watches all of this from its 3 fortified cities on the coast. It has been a guest in India for nearly a century. It has learned patience, the value of quiet persistence, the art of never asking for more than the moment allows. It has built its warehouses into cities and its cities into something that looks, from certain angles, very much like a state. Now the state that kept it in check is fracturing. The company's directors in London write careful letters about trade opportunities and market conditions. But on the ground, in Calcutta and Madras and Bombay, the company's men are watching something different. They are watching power drain out of the center and pool in unguarded puddles on the ground around them, and they are beginning to understand that power lying unclaimed on the ground does not stay there forever. The Mughal emperor is dead. 18 regional powers are now fighting over his empire, and somewhere in Calcutta, a group of company clerks has just hired its first private army.